Some people just won the Royal Caribbean jackpot, and if you did, you know what I'm talking about. If not, we're gonna get into it. Also, we have our health and safety protocols for Adventure of the Seas, which leaves in 1 week. There's so much to talk about. Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Saturday. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Jordan and this is JJ Cruise. There is so much going on, and before we get into that, if you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell notification button so that you never miss cruise videos like these. We are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. That is our next goal. We have a week to do it. If you could hit that subscribe button and help us out, we would definitely appreciate it. It's free to you. It means the world to us. And thank you, as always, to our dedicated watchers and viewers out there. We love you. We appreciate you. And let's get into this news. Okay, so first off, Royal Caribbean has made some major plays over the last 24 hours. You know, first we just thought, okay, you know, they're canceling a bunch of sailings. They're announcing the restart of some of their ships throughout July and August. We went through all of those dates yesterday. So if you didn't see that video yet, definitely go check that out. But then after we made the video, the comments blew up with people talking about their sailings not getting canceled, but moved. Royal Caribbean did something pretty incredible, and if you were booked on Independence of the Seas for the summer or fall, you have now been moved to the brand new Odyssey of the Seas. And there is a whole cruise ship of people that are going on the Odyssey of the Seas Inaugural Sailing on July 3rd that didn't plan on ever taking that ship. But they were booked on Independence of the Seas for a Southern Caribbean cruise. Those itineraries were the same, so they were just shifted and moved over to Odyssey of the Seas with no additional cost to them. That's pretty amazing. For all of the, I think, negative things that have happened to a lot of people throughout the year, and there's still negative things happening, I want to make sure that everyone is affirmed in their feelings, because we also had cruises canceled yesterday. They are doing some pretty big things in terms of customer loyalty and some nice surprises. So everyone that was on Independence is now moved to Odyssey. Everyone that was on Liberty of the Seas in the fall is being moved to Independence. Everyone that was on the Navigator of the Seas is being moved to the Freedom. So they did this, I think, instead of just canceling a bunch of cruises, they just rebooked a bunch of people because they know that people want to cruise and people are ready to cruise. Pretty cool. I think that it's pretty awesome for those of you that were booked on Independence of the Seas. We, like I said, had a couple of cruises that ended up being canceled, but then we did have an Independence of the Seas room booked, and we actually had a suite booked in the fall, and we just found out that we're going to be in a suite on Odyssey in the fall. So that's pretty exciting. We're really stoked about that. But also, if you watched yesterday, you know that we did book the July 3rd Odyssey of the Seas sailing by calling in. It was still, as of last night, was not on the website, but we did call in. We paid a pretty penny for that sailing because we felt like it was really important that we get on that ship. We do a ship tour right away. We bring you reviews of everything that's going on that ship. And it's my birthday, so why not take a brand new Royal Caribbean cruise on my birthday? Pretty excited about it. Okay, so the next big question, especially for all of these sailings, is will vaccines be required? Royal Caribbean came out in a statement to the press late yesterday, and they basically said they believe about 90% of people that are getting on cruise ships or planning on cruising are going to be vaccinated, and that there's this major effort amongst vacationers to try and go get vaccines. However, they said if you are unable to be vaccinated or cannot verify that you're vaccinated, you will be subject to testing, and then you will have to go on, you will have to adhere to other protocols on the ship that will be coming at a later date. We don't know what these protocols are, but my assumption is they are going to heavily involve masks, potentially not being able to get off the ship to go on other islands. We're going to have to see what that is. But they are doing this to satisfy the governor of Florida, because you all know his law is hanging out there, and he's saying cruises are not exempt from this. Cruise ships cannot require vaccines. So they've done this to kind of appease him. They also publicly thanked him, and what he's done to try and get cruising back for the state of Florida. So that's all very interesting. So as of right now, it seems like some of these cruises are not going to be vaccine required, but if you do not have your vaccine, you will have to function under an entirely different set of rules from vaccinated passengers. And the cruise experience in general is probably going to be very, very different. It's probably going to be similar to what's happening in the UK, which people are still saying they're having a blast on those ships, but masks will probably be required everywhere, even on the pool deck. There will probably be limited capacity of spaces. If you're not vaccinated, you might not be allowed in certain areas. So they are kind of taking this approach of, you know, there's gonna be two different ways to cruise. You can cruise if you're vaccinated, you can cruise if you're unvaccinated, but you're gonna have a little bit of a different experience if you are not vaccinated. Speaking of vaccines, let's talk about Adventure of the Seas. So we just received our health and safety protocols, and I am extremely happy to say that if you are vaccinated on that cruise ship, you do not have to wear a mask. If you are unvaccinated, you do have to wear a mask throughout the entire ship, inside and outdoors. I'm assuming not in the pool. However, you will have to have a mask pretty much on your face the entire time. So, especially for kids, it seems like they will have to be in masks wherever they are if they're under the age of 16. Everyone above the age of 16 is required to have their vaccine. I'm honestly questioning if there's going to be a lot of kids on this ship. My guess is that there's not going to be a lot of kids on the ship. I think it's probably going to be mostly adults, and we're going to party like old times without masks aboard, and I am so excited about it. The other piece of important news is we can go off the ship. We can get off the ship, we can explore the islands as we want to. Now, we do have to adhere to whatever rules those islands have. So, you know, for example, if there's an island that says you do have to have your mask on all times, we will have to wear a mask and adhere to the guidelines of that island. But we can get off the ship, which is super exciting. I'm very, very excited to be able to get off the ship and explore some of these ports as we are getting on Adventure of the Seas. All right, one last thing I want to just touch on is tests. So a lot of questions have been, you know, will we have to take tests? Will we not have to take tests? If you've been following the June 5th sailing, which is today, if you're watching this, for the Millennium out of St. Martin, they just had a huge debacle with tests. They announced earlier this week that guests would have to get a test 120 hours before boarding per the new laws of the island. Then Celebrity said, nope, we are going to make this a requirement for 72 hours. So a bunch of people already went and got their tests. Then St. Martin came and said, actually 72 hours. So all of these passengers are having to take one test, then they have to take another test. So confusing. That's a vaccine required cruise. You have to be vaccinated to be on that ship. So it's been a week for those passengers, but bon voyage to everyone on board, because that ship is sailing today, and I'm so happy for you. If you're watching from this ship, if you're watching from St. Martin, that's amazing, and we are thrilled to pieces that you're going to be aboard that ship and you're sailing later today. In terms of testing for Adventure of the Seas, no testing is required once we get to the Bahamas if you're vaccinated, once we get on board, but we will be taking a test on day 6 of the cruise so that we can come back to the US, because that is a requirement for international travel. For those that are not vaccinated, there will be a series of 3 tests. You will get tested once you get there, you will get tested on the ship, and then you get tested again on day 6. So unvaccinated passengers will be tested 3 times. Vaccinated passengers will be tested once. But again, that is just to get back in the US. That is not to get aboard Adventure of the Seas. All right, you guys, so that is everything for today. That was a lot of information. What do you think about all this breaking news today? What do you think about the news of potentially no vaccines on the Royal Caribbean cruises? Are you excited about it? I'm very nervous to know that they might have 2 ways of cruising. I think that could be really... It just could be really strange. So we'll have to see how that plays out and what happens with all of that. I'm really excited that we're getting on adventure in 7 nights. We're going to be bringing you all the health and safety protocols as they're happening. We're going to be launching them here on the website. We're going to be attempting to do lives. So please hit that subscribe button and follow us as we get aboard the very first ship to go out of a North American port. Then a week later, we're going to be on Celebrity Edge, being on the very first ship that is going to be out of a US port. And we couldn't be more excited. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. Until next time, see ya.